Hey people. So today I wanted to get through as many of the remaining known compiler bugs as I can, and then maybe tomorrow I could do a SuperStream Sunday where I work on new features or whatever, but we'll see about that. Today I wanted to get through as many of the remaining known compiler bugs as I can. Hold on. And then maybe tomorrow I could do a SuperStream Sunday where I work on new features or whatever, but we'll see about that. Oh, okay. Hopefully the stream will get better now. Did I finish Celeste? No. No, I didn't. I might play it later today. Who knows? Okay. Hopefully the stream will get better now. Did I finish Celeste? No. No, I didn't. I might play it later today. All right. The first bug today is a simple one. Way back a long time ago, I demoed that you could have the print routine, print out structs in a custom kind of a way by putting a member on it that's called print me and can be any procedure. That doesn't work right now. It crashes for some reason, but I'm not actually going to debug it. I'm just going to take it out because this isn't really the best way to do that. Oh, hopefully there wasn't. Yeah, I closed my stream. So it's not really the best way to do that, in part because you can't, if this is the standard way of designating how to print something, then if you're using a library, you can't really declare your own way of printing that library's structs without injecting things into the struct, which may then have other consequences, like maybe that library cares a lot about what's in the struct, like it's hashing it or something, right? So it seems like a bad idea to encourage wanton modification of someone else's structs for, just to do simple things. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to implement namespaces like we were talking about in the library stream. And then, like the print library would have a namespace, and you can poke in there procedures that do this sort of thing. Something like that. The webcam, what's wrong with the webcam video? Oh, because there's shadows coming in the window. I see. I see what you're saying. Anyway, so I'm just going to go into the print module, and I'm going to say incomplete when we have namespaces. We want this module to create a namespace into which users can poke their own procedures for printing data types. And well, what else is there to say about that? Well, then this takes the place of the old print me functionality, which is now commented out. Okay, we'll just do that. So print me. The thing that looked up print me is this get printer thing. Right, and I imagine that what's happening is the executable isn't properly dealing with the pointer or something, but we're just going to comment that out. Yeah, that's it. Oh, I gotta open the compiler? Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Like creating a two-string method or whatever is what a lot of people do, but the problem is that that thing doesn't necessarily know how you want to think about it. It's not, like object-oriented methodology is really not a good way to do programming, honestly. Yeah. So now, yeah, so the print me is still there and we just ignore it. So all right, great. Bug 81. And then we'll come back. I skipped 72 and 78 because they were like, these are things I don't want to do right now. But if I crank through all these, then maybe I'll come back to that. Okay. Namespaces, new version of me. Bug 72. And then I actually have some things that are not necessarily filed in here that Ignacio reported because he's been using the compiler lately. Okay, bug 81. What is bug 81? It's a compiler crash. Okay. Seems not great. These breakpoints, get rid of them. Dependency. Okay, we're trying to, so I have this new code that was just written in the past week for reporting circular dependencies. And somehow we didn't get an explainer node. And that's weird. If I ever tried out the game Elite Dangerous, yeah, I tried playing it for like 5 minutes, like when it was very, very early. And I couldn't even fly the ship meaningfully, so I gave up. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. So that means that B, what does that mean? It's in pipe patch. Theoretically, it's not sleeping on anyone. If it's in pipe patch, oh God. Okay, no, my two-pass system here is wrong. Okay. So this whole file is just about converting stuff from the more complicated data structures around the compiler to like a format that's just used for error messages. so that we can do higher level error messages without worrying about intricacies or complications involved in how dependencies can happen and all this stuff. All right, I certainly was not thinking very clearly when I did this. I don't know. I program a lot by instinct instead of thinking. Whoops, wrong version. I made debug build. And sometimes instinct does the wrong thing. Okay, well, that's odd. Main depends on all right, well, definitely there's some problems here. So we have this depends on -1, which seems bad. And it's not surprising because this is new code. Whenever you used to have circular dependencies, you used to get some like spew that only I could ever read. And so this is an attempt to make it nicer. And in this case, it's not particularly nice. So I don't know. Why are we asserting not explainer node? Did we go twice? How did we get there? We're calling report circular dependencies for a second time, I guess. Why are we doing that? Oh. Well, I don't know. Let's just put a breakpoint here. Like the loop outside this is kind of an older, messier thing that maybe shouldn't be that way anymore. So learn pipe infer. Learn pipe infer again. We frickin'. Okay, this loop is stupid. So this is not going to fix the problem, but I'm going to simplify this code because, oh, let's do a count. Let's do a line of code count before we simplify anything. I don't know how many lines the compiler is lately. It's probably too big. Yeah, 40,202. All right, so line 220 of main. Pipe infer. You know, I could easily break something here, but whatever. Whatever. Like this loop down here is really old and just complicating things. All right, so if we're in the infer pipe, well, except that we don't need that pipe at all anymore. Okay. So really, what do I want to do? I want to scan through all the pipes stuck is true, break. Let's say which one it is. Stuck pipe is pipe break. So if stuck pipe, if it's the infer pipe, I mean, we may end up with logic that does the same thing no matter what pipe it is, but in fact, so first of all, we could say this is really just more developer spew that I'm going to preserve. I guess. I don't know. That's approximately, who knows what the hell that's going to do. All right. Should have saved a few lines of code. Yep. All right. Okay, well, didn't assert anymore, so we got rid of that problem. I didn't actually expect that to fix that problem, but it did. So now I want to figure out why we're not drawing all these things. And this is not that user-friendly. So this procedure thing is not telling us whether it's the header or the body, first of all. So let's fix that. Actually, before we do any of this, let's make sure Sokoban and the tests run, because that was a non-trivial change. All right. Although it's really a change that only should happen if we fail to compile, but you never know. Oh, this may fail for other reasons. Yeah. That's a known bug. We got to do the test with x64 because the LLVM backend is broken right now. Where is it? No, it's just tests. Nope. All right. All right. Okay. Simplify. Simplify the call into circular dependency reporting. Why don't I use Unity? The audio's low. Let me check the levels. I don't know. I think Windows keeps resetting this mic to a low volume. Like, I don't really know. I mean, OBS says it's fine. I don't know, man. Is this getting quieter? Maybe. Will this make it louder? No. I see no visible change. I don't know. I don't know, guys. It's just Windows 10's crappy mic handling. That's all. That's all. Yes, I did hear that Mike Acton is now working for Unity. Hopefully he'll be able to turn some things around there. All right. So, I simplified that loop thing. And the reason I did that, well, was to have more sanity around the circular dependency reporting, which we're now going to go modify. So here, okay. So procedures have two things that could depend on each other or other things. They have headers and bodies. So I have to say, name is header of procedure, but if expr if node queued flags and is procedure body, name is body of procedure. If it's an anonymous procedure, we just say that. Otherwise, we just say that. So then, it's not the name of it. Is lambda body. I gotta straighten out my... What did I just do? Is the stream still up? Oh my god, I just hit some random, not quite correct key and just Windows freaked out. The display shut off for a second. All right. I have no idea what that just was. Okay. Oh no, I don't want to run tests. I want to go back over here. No, not Sokoban. I keep running the wrong things. There. Okay. So now it's less nonsensical. It's like, oh, the body of the procedure depends on the header of the procedure. Right? But it also depends on this other thing that's not in the array. And then there's this other thing here that has like a completely empty name, so we get to work on that. Why don't I do this? Default unhandled type %d. Let's see what the hell that is. Unhandled type 18. Oh, I don't want to put a new line. 18 is an enum. Right. So if it's an enum, how do we describe it? Oh, it has a bound name. All right. So we'll do the same thing as here. enum body of hello depends on and, which depends on enum body of hello. Let's see that. Repro line 8 and line 11. This might be the correct output, right? Okay. No, this, oh. See, this is a thing about, like, remember we've had streams about this before, about procedure scopes. Being linear. I can't fix this without a major overhaul to how things happen. So we're not going to do that right now. We'll do it eventually. Because it'll also, I think it'll make the compiler faster if we do a good job of this. Win Control Shift B. We'll restart the CPU and beep. That might have been what it was. How many people work here? I don't know anymore, like probably 12. Something like that. Like not everybody's in the office. Some people work remotely. A lot of people work remotely at this point. Probably too many people work remotely. So, yeah. Well, we have user-defined attributes. What does that mean? You can't use a random jargon term from some programming language I don't use or care about and expect me to know what that means. What is an attribute? What does the word attribute mean? Every programming language has a different definition for the word attribute. So what's a user-defined attribute? If you wanted to generate boilerplate glue code instead of writing it, this sounds like a question that is answered in the YouTube videos that you can go watch. Yes, of course you can generate glue code. When does the number of people remotely reach too many? I don't know. It's just kind of something that you feel. It's much easier to coordinate and communicate with people who are around every day. That's just the reality. Okay, guys. I'm not going to answer right now questions about how do you generate code or how are operators handled and stuff. And the reason is just, it's not that they're not good questions. It's just that if I answer those questions all the time, every time someone asks them, I'll never get anything done. So there's a YouTube channel with many demo videos that cover all this stuff. And maybe if somebody is cool, they could paste a link in the channel to there's like a playlist of compiler demos, and you can just look by topic, and one of them or several of them are about code generation, and at least one's about operators and stuff, and you can just look them up. Abner actually annotated the videos, and we are going to make those available when we make the compiler available. Anyway, so now I'm gonna, I think, not try to solve this. When I check in bug 81 again, I'm gonna say, well, we improved a lot of things, but this one is a different problem that we're not gonna attack yet, because it's a restructuring of something in the compiler, something major. It'll be like the 5th time that I've rewritten the way dependency handling works. And that is a delicate task, but I'm getting better at it every time I do it, and it's becoming cleaner every time I do it. Okay. So the main thing that I'm still worried about here now in this dependency report is this depends on -1. Like, what the hell is that? That means we're missing some information or something like that. So let's go to explainer and so this is where we print that. So for some reason, somebody is not getting their printout index set, which means they're not in the same simply connected component as us. What? How is that possible? Well, let's see. Well, let's see. 783, whatever, there. Okay, so we're just going to break there. Ignore that. So printout index is -1. What the hell is going on? What do heck? So this is an explainer node. How are we depending? Maybe my simply connected component broken is wait. Actually, no. Okay. So right now, everybody between start and end here is in a cycle. And the problem is that I don't just want to print people who are in the cycle, because if the cycle involves somebody who is just stalled, like just refusing to go, but not, no, but that would mean that we're not correctly saying why it's refusing to go. I don't know. Let's just see who this is, and it might tell me more. Wow, okay, I've got a lot of stuff. So this is an enum, right? It's a very small demo file, right? It's enum line 8. Well, oh, okay, because that enum is in a cycle. So here's what's happened is this enum is in a cycle. This is depending out to the other cycle. And the confusing thing is there are several issues here. These guys, it says they depend on each other, but they don't really yet. So let's fix that. So the thing is, these guys depend on each other, but for later pipes than the pipe they are in. I don't want to have to explain that right now. It's something you may understand if you've seen enough of the demos. So when I grab the dependencies, so we make nodes for everybody, and then when there's like 3 different places, because like I said, the compiler data structures or the things that happen are a little complicated right now internally. So there's 3 different places where 3 different ways you could depend on somebody, and we're just, for each of those ways, we're just calling this dep thing to register it with the explainer in a unified way so that we don't have to think about all the ways that things can happen. And this one here, it's like, okay, we need to be more specific about this. So, I guess we just check the pipe flags. So if oh, see, it's not that simple. Because we've got several frickin' pipe flags. So, well, I never remember where these are. Okay, so we've got all these pipe flags. Most of them are just like, hey, I'm waiting for this guy to pass this pipe, and those are simple to test for. But these ones are a little more complex. So I'm going to say auto-pf is it.pipe flags. If pf and pf target must pass run before we infer, else if target must pass size before we infer, else if pf target must pass infer before we message. I don't even, maybe I can simplify these at some point, right? Else, whatever. So, if target must pass run before we infer, if let's do it this way. Bool do dep is false, and then down here we're going to say if do dep, and do this. So if it must pass run before we infer, if I is pipe infer, if dot target pipe index, highest pipe exited, pipe run, do dep is true. Something like that. Let's just make sure this compiles. Probably won't. Yeah. Oh, these are cutes. Wait, what? I'm putting all this code in the wrong place. It's supposed to be down here. I started typing down here and then I drifted. Quality. Quality. All right. If do def. Okay. All right, good. So, if it must pass size before we infer, we do this. If it must pass infer before we message, then that. Else, if PF and pipe fly, is that it? I don't. Okay, I just do it manually. Okay. Now let's see what happens. Now we get no dependencies at all. It's not what we wanted. That is not what we wanted. Well, I'm going to have to step through that. I'm not sure what's going on. All right. Okay, right, I'm checking against the wrong pipe index, right? So what I really want to look at is the dependency target. No? So this is in this is a dependency. I want to look at this guy from the parent scope. This is in pipe infer, which is pipe index 1. this is weird. This only has one dependency. It's on that enum. No surprise, because it's a very simple example with hardly anything in it. And oh, that guy's sleeping on things. Oh, and this shouldn't be an else anyway. This should be, none of this should be else, first of all, because any of these can be independently true. That's not the problem that I'm currently having, but so it's like that. Secondly, if the target is sleeping, then we do dep, right? If it.target sleeping on do dep is true, because well, that's dubious, but all right, well, it seems to be right, at least for this example, in that we got rid of the junk output of the other things that don't matter. So now we've just got our circular dependency. Which in reality is a, all right. So let's go into bug 81 and say, I have fixed some problems that were happening here. However, the issue with the enum, depending on symbol in procedure scope that is defined within the enum. Until a while later, because it requires a major overhaul of the dependency system, we want to finish stabilizing before we break things again. In the meantime, just need to document this for early adopters. Okay, good progress. Okay, bug 82. Call does not resolve the types of all variables. Oh, this could be a fun one. Variable K would bind to C in the caller, but C is also polymorphic, so we don't fix a type. I need to look at this example. Maybe this is correct behavior, maybe not. Let me go check this off. Actually, let's come back to this, because I think bug 83 and bug 84 are probably more trivial, so we can just reduce the number of bugs. Huh? If you comment this out, the declarations below produce an error. Okay, so the bug is that we don't get that error if this guy is here So if this guy is first, we don't get that error. That's the bug. All right. Two overloaded definitions. Two overloaded. The place that checks for this error is line 2022. Okay. So we're looking in the overload list of this thing. Check for redundant overloads. Huh. Doesn't seem wrong. That's true about a lot of bugs. Let's get rid of this. Oh, you know what? No. All right. When does this get called? Well, if it's got an overload list. Okay. And that's going to be probably line number 1. Foo, yes. Okay, so let's make sure. Should be in repro, which it is. Great. So we're checking for redundant overloads. Let's look before we follow the import link. We have an overloads list with 6 things. Afterward, we still have 6 things. Which is expected. Oh, we're only checking against the head lambda. Okay. This needs to be an n squared loop instead of an O of n loop, right? All right. For I equals 0, I less than head overload list items. For j equals I plus 1 j, auto, LJ. Lift this out of the loop. If we check for argument match, LILJ. Spam the errors. Oh. You could, no, these don't necessarily have an expression. It's got to be this. Because it could be a procedure pointer. You're allowed to have that in overloads, I think. I don't know. All right. To overloaded does blah, blah, blah. Great. It works. That's a little cavalier. Let me just run the tests again, make sure we didn't break. Oh, God. Okay. Bad news bears. I shouldn't have checked that in. I'm a bad person. Always run the tests, even if you think you did. Wait, what? Why was that not happening? I'm glad Windows is reporting the problem to Microsoft. Fucking stupid. All right, where were we? How do I turn off disassembly? Just because I viewed disassembly one time doesn't mean I want to see it all the time. All right. Why does it not have an inferred type? That's bad. Oh. No, I see why, I guess. Man, out of order compilation makes everything harder. Okay, so okay, static void get overload lambda asked declaration say if decal expression, oh, this is asked lambda this complication is because we presume we can mix procedure printers with constant procedures in a single overload. Maybe that should not be true. Who knows? Okay. So, else assert decal, what is it now? I renamed this a while ago. Decal type inst. Assert decal type inst value type of lambda. Return that. Come on. Oh, I can't build with. That's the wrong Visual Studio. Can't build with that one. Oh, yes, I want to stop debugging. All right. Hey, the magical incantations worked. Okay, but we knew about that one. Let me, we got to switch the test back to x64 so that it works. Okay, and then let's do Sokoban. Okay. Fix overload reporting problem. Oops. All right. It's time for me to get some tea water, and then maybe we'll get some questions and answers in case anybody doesn't know what the hell is going on, like me. I never know what the hell. What bug was that? Bug 83. So we've done 82, 83. Will it be a good language for beginners? I don't know. It depends on your priorities. We're not trying to make a learning programming language, right? So, I mean, if you're a kid and you want to learn to ride a bicycle, like first you get the training wheels on, right? And then eventually you take them off. So I think this language is more like the bike with the training wheels off. So, you know, it's maybe not the best first programming language, but it's not trying to be. That said, it'll have much less BS and weird, cryptic, bizarre things that you have to understand to get anything done than a lot of modern languages do. So it might actually be better for beginners along those dimensions. But it is a language where you think about memory management, for example, which a lot of people think beginners shouldn't have to do that. So I don't know. Will we ship a renderer for DirectX? Probably. Ignacio was doing some DirectX bindings this week, actually. while the tea is heating up, it occurs to me that I need to go explain why I did what I just did in a comment, or else it's not going to make any sense. What file was that even in? Okay. We can't just check Decal inferred type since we may not have that yet because we performed this check when at the head of an overload list, but declarations in that list do not currently get inferred in any, well, okay, that increased the size of the compiler. Oh no, 40241, it's so big now. Oh, we added so many lines of code. Okay, well, that's how it is sometimes. Sometimes the number goes up, sometimes it goes down. Let's look at the next one. Not all control paths return a value. That one's for Josh. Probably. Yeah. Bug 84, going to leave that one as it is. Return a value thing. That said, the way we are doing this warning right now is kind of ad hoc. Usually, this kind of warning comes from a data flow analysis pass that know for sure what is going on, or as closely to for sure as possible. In a sense, we are writing a hacky data flow analysis pass for this warning, and maybe because of that, we will continue to find problems, but I think this is a very important warning for people to see, so we probably should keep it in and continue to improve it until such time as we do our own data flow analysis, which would be a good idea even when still using the LLVM backend because it would cause us to emit fewer bytecode instructions, thus giving the backend less work to do. Emails. Am I working on another game? Of course I'm working on a game. If I lost some code, well, yeah, you could use OCR for sure. All right, let me get the tea. I'll be back in a second. Okay. Any questions about what's going on? Do I have an MX Blue keyboard? Yes. What is motivation for out-of-order compilation? Instead of a couple of light pre-passes to get all the symbols and then super parallelized big semantics pass. But that's exactly right. So knowing what the symbols are is the easy part, right? Knowing what types all the symbols are is the hard part, or the hard-ish part. And unless you are like C or C++, where you force people to declare those things in order, which I don't, then the compiler has to discover the order in which the dependencies go. And the discovery of that order is the difficult part, right? I mean, you could do a thing where you just say, we just keep performing passes over all the files, and just as long as one symbol gets more meaning, then we converge. But we try to be more sophisticated about that than that. Although, that said, well, I mean, that's kind of, you know, that's kind of what we do. It's just we do it in a much more, in a different way. But the way that I do it, honestly speaking, is not necessarily the best way, right? So anyway, it's just to say, for any given file or any given scope in the program, you can't depend on being able to process the symbols in order, right? Because some may be waiting on other ones, right? Or somebody from another scope may be waiting on one of them, and then the one after that may be waiting on that guy who's waiting from the other one, and they could be far away from each other, right? So you just need to be sophisticated about how you handle this and do it well. And I've been through several designs of how to do that, let's put it that way. And it gets better every design. But right now it's a little bit funny because it's a Frankenstein thing where a couple of different designs are living on at the same time. And so I'd like to do this big revamp and just fix that at some point. What do I think about Godot engine and CryEngine? I don't really know anything about either engine. Yeah, you can declare your own operators. There's videos on YouTube for that. Yeah, I may do SuperStream Sunday tomorrow. It may happen. It may happen. Okay. Bug 82. Which one was that? Haiti Max. Oh, no, I didn't. Sorry. No. There's been a mistake. I haven't done bug 82. Yeah, that's not right. I accidentally deleted that. I haven't done this one yet. Why make the user remember what headers to include import? Shouldn't the compiler just know what to pull in? No, because say I call a routine called print. There might be 7 different libraries that provide something called print, and the one I want might not even be installed. How is it supposed to know if I don't tell it? What language do I recommend to start? I don't know, man. Computers are screwed up today. I don't think any programming environment today is good for beginners. Like when I learned how to program, it was in BASIC on a Commodore VIC-20, and you turned on the computer, and instantly the screen pops up, and you can start typing a program. And all the computer was doing was let you type that basic program in. It was very direct. You didn't have to download tools or learn how to use them, right? You type your program and then you type run. And computers have lost that woefully, right? So I really don't know. Maybe someday I could work on a language that's actually for beginners. I don't know what that would look like, though. It would not look like JavaScript or Python or any of that stuff. You don't see a problem in enforcing an order inside a procedure scope. Is there any? I mean, it's just inconsistent with the rest of the language. And you know, I was sort of thinking that that would be a fine thing to do, just say, sorry, buddy, you got to do these things in order. But then some case came up that convinced me that we really need to handle out of order, but I don't remember what that case is right now. Because there's just so much to think about. Between this and the games, plural, that I'm working on, I don't get to think too much about one thing for a long time, so it's easy for me to forget. You can type in Python. Yeah, it's not the same, dude. It's not the same. And anyway, you got to figure out Python, how to install Python. Good luck doing that. You just have to blah, 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 and then when it doesn't work, you just have to do this other thing. And then when that doesn't work, you just have to do, like, by the time you get your Python REPL running, you're just angry at computers anyway. So, look, guys, I can't, okay, to reiterate, I can't answer basic program semantics questions, because if I keep doing that, I'll spend all my time doing that. So you can check out the YouTube videos right now. They're the best source of documentation. Like I said, Abner did some annotations. We haven't made those publicly available yet. We will at some point. But yeah, I mean, I just can't re-talk about all the basic features all the time, or we never get anywhere. But there is a whole playlist on YouTube full of demo videos where I just show how all the features work. Okay. So let's look at bug 82, which I had procrastinated on and then accidentally deleted. Okay. So we're calling Nightmare. This is, I believe, originally an example from one of the demos. And so the question is, if the example is wrong, or if the polymorph solver is wrong in some way. I'll be much happier if the example is wrong, because it means I don't have to dive into difficult code. Okay, a variable k in line 41. Oops. What the hell is k? Oh. Well, the calling side is, well, okay, the calling side is line 55. Let's get that straight. So down here, we're calling dummy1, passing dummy1, dummy2, guy, which is a pointer to guy, and color.orange. All right. K would bind to C in the caller, but C is also polymorphic, so we don't fix a type. Let's see. So dummy1 has all this. Dummy2, all this. Yeah, okay, I see what's happening. So the thing is, the second argument here is a free variable, and the second argument here is a free variable. Okay. So at some point we used to handle this correctly. And then I needed to change it, or I added this error message to handle some case that didn't have a good error message. So the question is, so the problem is I don't remember what that case is. So when I fix this, I don't know if I've broken that case or not. This is good. So if Abner's still on, we definitely need a file that's like, make sure all these weird polymorphism cases still work, right? This should be in the standard tests for sure. Because when we change polymorphism, we need to know that this kind of thing works. So it might be that I could just not give this error message until we get stuck. Let's look at where that comes from. I feel like this might be a big pain in the ass. Okay, this is here. It maybe add match. Okay. Yeah, so here's what I'm doing is I'm intercepting. I think I can remake up what the test cases. Let's do that. Let's make up the test case that this was intended for. I want to make a test here, just in the same folder, and I'm going to say main goes A of B, right? So A takes some F, which is a procedure mapping some X to its own type, F of 3, right? I don't know, we're just going to print F of 3, so we're calling F, right? And B is just going to be X to X plus 1, right? So this is polymorphic. This is a quick lambda syntax. So if I call A of B, the problem is just there's no type for X by the time you're done here. Now the thing is that I inserted that error message preemptively at the point where these two variables match up, but that's probably too early. We should really do it only when we fail. And we should put that in the explainer somehow, in the explainer file, because it's about trying to come up with a sophisticated error message. So let's do this. Procedure must not contain a body. Oh yeah. Unable to parse a statement here. What? I think I'd know my own programming language. Okay, so here we go. T would bind a quick lambda parameter in the caller, but quick lambda parameter is also polymorphic, so we don't fix the type. That's all fine. That's what this was intended for. If I take out this, the question, so the problem is, I may have done other polymorphism changes around the time when I did this that would have broken the thing that we're trying to run. Like it may not only be this error message stopping us. Okay. Well, that's fine. We'll just detect that error later, but let's see if this works. R is needed but was not specified. This might be a super stream Sunday, or maybe it's today. Maybe we work on it today. Deleting all my buffers. All right. So what happens? A variable R is needed but was not specified. Why not? R is the second parameter, which okay, wait, dummy 1 is the first parameter. Dummy 2 is the second parameter. This code doesn't work. I mean, it's not the greatest error message, but like dummy 2 here has 2 parameters, and this only has 1 parameter. So I'm not sure what's going on, right? It's never gonna match. So I don't know, is Abner still here? Is this a simplified version of the original demo that had more stuff? I think I put in that fix for bug 58. Okay, yeah. I'll write that down. Who knows? Maybe I need to revert bug 58 completely. Do we have the source for the original demo from this still somewhere? So I could see, because I was trying to build some system of back and forth dependencies that had to get solved. Oh, wait, no, never mind. I was confused. Right, okay. This is a procedure, right, which is type of X. Never mind. So, right, it maps to void and then maps to C. So R would get the value of C, which should get type of A.favorite color. That's what's happening. So like polymorph matching just broke. Really. Which is a little sad. Yeah. Okay. The stuff I remember, let me just review the bug 58. I remember doing some attempted simplifications about the way that potential polymorph variables were stored and like what was valid. Maybe I should have used SVN blame on that line. Whatever. All right. Bug 56. This wasn't that long ago. All right. Maybe this file didn't get modified. Where was that one? It was in Typer? Yeah. Why do people say still use SVN? I don't get that. Why do you use Git? Let me ask you that question. Why do you use Git? What is the reason why you use Git? Okay. Abner said bug 58, but I don't see that here. Should have used blame. It's there. Scroll further below. Oh, right. There we go. Okay. Why is this not popping up? Okay, hold on. Let me look at what the bug was. Oh, it was just a crash. Right. So we were doing exactly this. Where'd my mouse pointer go? Windows. All right, we were doing exactly this. So we're passing this to map, and you know, there's not enough information to construct a type. So I feel like I wouldn't have made the drastically big changes that I'm thinking of. Why is this not happening? Just, I'm not getting the window. It's not popping up. It's the first time this ever happened. GitHub supports several source control schemes. It's called GitHub, but Git is not the only protocol that it supports. Git does not make it easy to create throwaway branches if you've got gigabytes of binary data, bro. Okay, now I'm getting a window up for some reason. Wow, what is going on today? Anyway, my point is not to say that there aren't legit reasons to use Git, because there are a few, but most people who use it because it's popular and because they don't know, like, they're making the choice not based on facts of the functionality of the different systems. They're just making it because they're following in trends. And so when they come along and say, why do you still use SVN, as though SVN were just some old thing that Git is strictly better than, it's just goofy, right? Because, I don't know, that's all. That's all. Like, as if they knew why they weren't using SVN, right? So source control without binary control is useless if your program uses binaries, by the way. Because you need to sync your source and binaries. Hey, I finally got something. Let me see if the backup process started again. Nope, it's paused. I don't know. I just had a really slow connection to the server. All right. Yeah, that's totally the point, is like Git is not suited for all purposes. It's fine if you're one programmer just chilling and you've got some source and very little binary, then it's fine. As long as also you're willing to put up with the bizarro user interface that's terrible. But for teams, especially teams with people who are not technical, you can't ask them to use Git. It's a disaster. Oh, here's when I like requested 9 of these windows. Our server must be going really slow. I wonder what's happening there. Okay, wait, this doesn't actually look like, this is not actually that block of code. No, it's this one down here. So this is not even the right thing. Okay, here I'm gonna revert it for a second. We're at line 7139. Where's blame? Blame. I don't know. How do I say like from a month ago? 2000. SVN doesn't litter your file directory with SVN files anymore, or at least it doesn't do it in every subfolder anymore. It just does it in the root. And I think maybe you can set it. Actually, I think it doesn't even go in the root anymore. No, it does. It does. But I think you can actually tell it to go somewhere else too. But it used to be, I agree, kind of a disaster that it would put them everywhere. All right, so we were at line 7144. Okay, the line numbers, okay, here we go. This was in revision 4351. Bug 48, not 58. For this. I don't know how to get that from the UI, so I'm just gonna like 4351. Why isn't it? I said next 100. Oh, here we go. 4351. December 3rd. Yeah, our server is real slow today. I don't know what's going on. What do I think about adding visual programming? Well, we could provide a library for that, sure. It wouldn't be part of the programming languages. I don't mind that kind of a thing. It's just, it's not really for programmers, right? It's for like level designers and stuff. So it's not really the priority. My priority right now is to make the core language good and solid. What is going on with our server? Maybe we're running out of disk space and thrashing. Maybe we're getting DDoS. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, Git would fall over and die if you tried to put our repository in it. It's like hundreds of gigabytes of data. It would just explode. All right. Doesn't seem like that many changes. Okay, that's that. Okay. Next difference. Seems like two different versions of the same message. Oh no, it just skipped to the same message. I don't know. All right. Maybe add match, maybe add match, maybe add match. Right, so maybe add match was the thing that filtered. Why is it listing that as only one change? I don't get it. Yeah. I think I just kind of broke polymorphism a little bit. This is going to require some serious thought. But I guess I might as well start now because it's got to get fixed. Or am I planning to write libraries for important data structures like there is with standard library for C++? Probably not, because there are only 3 important data structures. Arrays, which are supported in the library, hash tables, or arrays which are core to the language, right? Hash tables, which we'll provide a library for, and linked lists, which are too simple for us to do anything with. I mean, I guess we could provide a linked list library, but it doesn't make that much sense. So, because usually you want your linked list to be invasive or whatever. That's it. Like, there's plenty of other data structures, but you don't need them for almost anything. I almost never use any other data structures than that. So, like, I think the C++ Standards Committee is woefully mistaken about how programming is and what you need and that sorts of thing, and that's why C++ isn't progressing very far. There are some visual programming tools designed just for programmers, like Programming Without Coding Technology, that support C language now. I don't really believe that. I've never seen a visual programming tool that was better for programmers than typing text. If you want to link me one, I'll take a look, but every single one of those that I've seen was a toy. It wasn't a real thing. Yeah, I believe that the code is the same, actually. Yeah. I think I just have to solve this. I'm not going to look at what changed before. It's just going to confuse things. I need to just dig down and solve this from first principles. Which may be a little bit ugly, because there's like policies that I have to remember about what is allowed to be bound to what that I don't remember. Okay, I think, so when I commented this out, we got another assertion. I think that assertion is wrong if we want this to work. So let's see where that was. Oh, line 3160. Okay. So what happened is we made a polymorphic lambda, and it still has. Okay, here's what I need to do here. Here we go. Okay. Oh, that was the wrong one. We need test. Okay, so this was my lame error message. This is what happens. So we polymorph the procedure. We get the end result, and the end result is still polymorphic, right? So what I can do is instead of throwing an error at that time when you bind a variable to another variable, we don't want to do that. We want to give the error way later on when we've failed the polymorph, but we want to be able to succeed, right? So we don't want to stop it that early. So really, my first job is going to be just to move that error message to here. Okay. I don't remember. Unable to fix a type, so we don't fix type. All right. So We can actually do this earlier in make polymorph of called procedure. Because that will have more information. That'll know what the polymorph matches are. Make polymorph of called procedure. So maybe we yielded. Okay, now, if our result is still polymorphic, we had a problem. Okay. If it's polymorphic, we're going to just assert that by the time we get here, it's not polymorphic anymore, because we will have returned here, because we will have reported an error here. Wait, what? Oh. Okay. So, if it's polymorphic, we're just going to report that error. Let's just make sure this compiles and we still get the error. Okay, good. Okay. Provide a better error message explaining what variable is missing. Okay. Now, if this happens, let's say explained is false. For solutions.matches. Let's rename it to match. It is the implicit iterator variable that we have going on. Okay. If we have a type definition and etc., does this have silent check? Yeah. So if we find a match here, put the silent check out here. Silent check, if that's true, it just means that we're not really trying to call this. We're like maybe resolving an overload or something, or we're just asking if we could call it. Well, let's just do this. Explained equals true. Now, so if we manage to print a nice explanation, that's fine. If we didn't, we do this one. Oh, we don't need this anymore. Okay. Okay. Oh, did I not save the other file? No, I did. Why am I getting both error messages? Because I'm saying if explained, not if not explained. Rocket science 200 IQ. All right. So we've got our good explanation, but it happens much later. So it doesn't stop the other thing, which is not to say that the other thing will work now. It's just that we've removed this. So let's make sure Sokoban and stuff still works with our debug compiler that we just built. Oh boy, it doesn't. Oh boy. What did I break? What did I break? Oh, result is null. Obviously. Obviously. Like, we could have failed for other reasons. All right. Okay, so that runs. Let's go back real fast and change tests to x64. And oh, I don't know. So Abner, you and Josh aren't on the programmers mailing list that the game projects are on right now, but we added this no check-in thing where in theory, if you try to check in code that has this, the server will reject it. So if you make a change that you don't want to check in, try that out, make sure it works. All right, what am I doing? I'm running tests. They work. Great. Move explanation of polymorph resolution failure to later on after matching is fully done. Okay, like I see, it worked. Do not commit files with string no check-in. All right. Okay, great. Now, like I said, I don't think that solves the complete problem. So this gives us a nice error message. But I don't think repro will work. I'm pretty sure it won't yet. Yeah, so we have another problem, probably having to do with like assumptions that I made about what was allowed to be bound to what that are no longer true. So I'm going to have to, this is the hard part next. Yeah. Programming without coding technology uses tree view, data entry forms, time dimension to replace the source code. It doesn't sound very practical for coders to me. Is there any reason that I prefer programming on Windows? You have to. If you make video games, trying to program on Linux is a nightmare because you can't write fast graphics code that won't kill the machine because the drivers are super buggy and or slow. Audio doesn't work consistently. Dude, I can't even install Linux on most of my computers, right? You need to run on a variety of hardware, and good luck having Linux installed correctly and working well on a variety of hardware around your office to test. Have I eaten a cupcake? No, you know, we have a bunch of cupcakes, and they're all kind of old and stale now. However, I do have these peanut butter cups, which is kind of like a cupcake, and I've eaten a few of those so far. So you've reminded me that I should have another one. So thank you for that. Yeah, and there's also the fact that just games run on Windows, right? So you want to spend most of your time on the platforms you're going to ship on, because that's how you test the code the most. You know, the main graphics API that you would use on Linux right now is OpenGL, and it's the worst graphics API. Nobody wants to use it. It's terrible now. In the old days, OpenGL was pretty good, but it's become awful. And the alternative is Vulkan, which is just not really fully baked, and nobody wants to use that either. So You know, the graphics APIs that people use to ship games are all the platform-specific APIs. So there are things like DirectX, you know, I probably can't even say the name due to NDAs of what the PlayStation 4's GPU library is, but you use a PlayStation 4 one on there. You use DirectX, the console version of DirectX on the Xbox One. On Nintendo, I don't remember. That might be OpenGL ES for all I know, but it's not a high-performance machine, really. And on Apple devices now you use Metal if you're serious about graphics programming. So it's kind of annoying that there's all these different APIs, but at the same time, it just works much better to code to those than to try to program in OpenGL and then have it fail horribly on every system, right? At least if you program to that system, you can make it work. What do I think of ImGUI? It's the right way to do user interfaces. Is Vulkan really that bad still? So what I've heard about Vulkan, I haven't tried to program in it, but what I've heard about it is it's terrible in that it forces you to do all this really low-level, squirrely, crazy stuff that you don't want to have to think about, and yet still doesn't really solve any problems for you. Like, it doesn't really help you that much. It just forces you to do more. Whereas the reason, you know, I don't know, I shouldn't say much because honestly, I haven't tried to use it. This is only, my opinion is formed secondhand from people that I've heard that have used it, right? But what they found was that they sort of felt like Vulkan was wasting their time because it was forcing them to do a bunch of things. Like the reason people said, hey, we want a low-level API that lets us specify what happens on the GPU is because there were certain things about OpenGL-style APIs that were getting in the way and preventing us from getting good performance. But the thing is, the stuff Vulkan forces you to do is not really most of the time things that you want to be low-level to have good performance. It's just things that it's forcing you to do for no reason, right? So, like, I don't know. I shouldn't say much more. I doubt I'll try Vulkan myself anytime soon, just because I have a lot of things going on. So maybe by the time I do try it, they'll fix it. They'll have Vulkan 2 or something. I don't know. Altered Carbon, no, I haven't seen that. I don't really watch much television these days. Compile into OpenCL. What is OpenCL? Is that the compute shader language? You can do that. We've got an LLVM backend. It works fine. Yeah, all right, I'm gonna warm up some more tea and then I'll come back and try to attack this next part of bug 82, which is gonna be the hard part, because I think I know why it's unspecified, but we need to step through. I think I made some assumptions, because we didn't have tests covering all these cases. I made some assumptions last time I worked on polymorphism about what could be valid, and I forgot about this kind of a case when I did that. So I'm going to have to step through, and there's going to be some if statement rejecting this binding in check that types match. But I want to see it happen with my eyes. But I want to have warm tea when I see that happen. How do you concentrate streaming with all these messages flying at you? Honestly, it's hard. Like I'm not programming at a high level of concentration right now. This is just like chilling, and I'm at like 15% productivity right now. But it's Saturday. What do you want? All right, back in a couple minutes. type of tea do I drink? A bunch. All right. Polymorphism matching thinger. Let's go to our repro. So we're just going to want to step through what's happening at this calling site, which is line number 56. So we've got this sort call arguments and maybe polymorph. Conditions. Call line number is equal to 56. Let's make sure it's the right one. Call file name. Open world. Wrong. Oh, we're doing Sokoban. Why are we compiling Sokoban? That's not what we want to be doing. Bug 84, 82, what is it? 82. Repro. Wait, what? Bug 82. Line 55, not 56. 55. There we go. Okay, call file name is repro. Good. Now, okay, we're making the inputs to the solver. That's fine. We're going to skip ahead. We're going to go to here. And this is going to check if we go to the easy or the hard case. And I believe looping will be set to true. Yep. So we have to go to the hard case here. This is just setting up inputs. And okay, all the code's inline here. What is this? We're just setting up, yeah. We're doing copies of the arguments. All right, so we run to here. This is the looping case. So we look for matches. This is going to take a lot of steps. So we start variable matching. Now in the first case, I believe, so what's going to happen? So dummy one, we should get T is bound to some type dot best friend. Oh, we might yield. Oh my God, we might yield this first time. I should have checked that. This will be a pain in the butt if we yield. All right. We'll get a matching, I think. True. So progress is going to be 0 still. Okay. So 4 arguments. So the first argument did not give us anything, right? So T would be type of I feel like that's already wrong. Oh wait, because some type isn't bound yet. Okay, so that's fine. We can't match there yet. We can't, let's predict what the first match is going to be. So the sum type is unknown, and K would match to type of A.favorite color, but we don't know A yet, so that's unknown. So X gives us nothing. Y is being matched to dummy 2 in the call down here. So type of X, which we don't know. Oh, snap. This might actually be correct. Hold on. So R is C. Z is sum type. So sum type will get bound to guy. And then W is R. Okay, so sum type gets bound to guy in the first iteration. Then type of guy.bestFriend, that'll be known, but it won't give us anything. But it'll tell us T. Okay, it'll tell us T. And then, because we know A, we'll get K. So we know T here and K here. And we don't know R. Yeah, no, this is correct. Okay, here's the thing, if Abner's still on. Nothing can ever give us R. Wait. No, I'm confused. See, okay, the thing that's confusing me is there was an early version of this that actually bound through type of, like where we let that do the matching, and then I said, no, that's stupid. We're going to prohibit that. So the question is this the version from before that or after that? And it's such a complicated example that hopefully nobody ever programs in actuality that it's hard for me to read. So okay, so we said we have K and we have T, and then so Y is matching this to R. So then C is going to be K, which gives us this C in principle, which gives us R. Okay, this should tell us R, actually. So some step of this process is failing. And I could guess which one it is, but yeah, the question is just if I changed the demo, and I suspect I did. I suspect that I fixed the type of thing and then changed it to be correct. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Anyway, so this first iteration is not going to give us anything until I is equal to 2. So I'm going to put a breakpoint here, and I'm just going to run to it again. So progress is still, wait, progress is 1? What? That means we got something out of dummy 2. Oh, but that might just be the binding of C to R. Okay, hold on. I have to watch this. All right. Let's do this again. Iteration number 1. All right, so now we have some matches. 0 in given, 1 in wanted. That means that one of the variables in wanted, right, which is the procedure that this one, because we're calling nightmare, so that's the wanted types. So we got one thing here, and it might just be the binding of a polyvariable to another polyvariable. So we're matching variable k. Well, what must that be? It must be, well, we're passing dummy 1, type of a dot favorite color. That doesn't seem right. Are we just saying type def poly use? Is that what we're saying? Expression. See what this is. Polymorphic variable. It's saying k is bound to C. Am I just rereading this wrong again? Do I? Yeah, sorry guys, I keep getting super confused. Oh, no. Okay. This is that original bug that I said was fixed. I guess I didn't fix it, or I broke the fix. Let's just make this work with that. So what's happening is it's saying type of x, and x is the type of x is this whole thing. So the type of x has this variable in it, and that's causing it to get matched, which is really, to be honest, not so good. But I don't know, maybe it's fine. I haven't formalized my idea of what this is too rigidly yet. So we match k to C. But we didn't match R to C. I don't understand that. Anyway, we'll see what happens next time around. Okay, next time. We match, and we got 1 in wanted and nothing in given. So what did we get? We matched some type to uh-oh. What is this type definition? To a struct, okay. It's struct guy, right? Yeah. So that's correct. Did we get anything on given? No. So progress goes up by 1. Okay. Next pass. Did we match? True. This is the 4th argument, color.orange, which is never going to give us anything. right? So we're going to have a 0 in each of these. But that is okay. So we finished our first pass over all the arguments. Okay. We're still good. Progress is 2. That's fine. We move all this stuff into the constants block. Okay, it's going to be the moving of C into the constants block that fails, probably. I feel like I reject something here. So, because I vaguely remember changing this stuff. So, match is wanted. K is bound to this thing, which is still, whoops, it's still going to be the variable declaration for C, right? Yeah, C. Okay, let's see if that survives this next step. So what we're doing is we're sort of saying, okay, whatever matches we got from the first pass, we're going to hard code those into the procedure, and then we're going to do another pass and see if we can make more progress once we know the values of those variables. Okay, I hope we don't yield. No, thank God. Okay, we find in the block. Find constants block entry. Well, all right. What's our second match? With some type, right? Some type. Okay, in principle, we got both of those. So what is this? Copy and reinfer any polymorphic ints in wanted. Oh God. Man, this does so much stuff. Don't yield. It's be a pain in the ass. So many things could be wrong. Oh my God. So basically what this is saying is, hey, this used to be a polymorphic type that we didn't know anything about, but now we have definitions for some of the variables. So see if you can infer a more concrete type given the values of those variables. So force infer is saying, forget what you knew about the type of this thing, reevaluate it based on the variables that we got. Okay. Now we're iterating again, starting at the first thing. And I really am not sure. Okay, so we know some type, so we know type of some type dot best friend, so that should match. That's not going to give us new information yet. K we already know is C, so that should match and not really give us new information. So we should not really make any progress in the first thing. The second thing, okay, so how am I supposed to get to R? Okay, so this is type of X. Wait, no, we're supposed to get K in this first step, right? So type of sometime type dot best friend is T. Type of A dot favorite color, which we should know, is going to give us K. But K is bound to C. I think we're going to reject that because we think the problem is this thing. See, there's only supposed to be one place where a variable can bind. I want to verify in a second that this is really what's broken. But there's only supposed to be one way that a variable can bind because this expression only corresponds to one expression, right? The problem is when you let this type of recurse down and present this whole thing again, which caused the K to match to the C, now K has a binding, mofo, and that's really not right. Because you just can't have two different bindings. That's just not a thing that's supposed to happen. So what I need to do is I don't exactly know how to handle this in a way that's not a hack. If we're polymorph matching, I don't know if there's an easy way to block this from happening. Let's verify that this is what's happening. Okay, so we're going to get a match of K against color, and then we're going to reject it later at the end of the loop, I bet, right? So we check the types match. Progress is 1. Wait, wanted gave us nothing, but given gave us something. Oh, T, it gave us T. Why did wanting? Oh, because we took K out of the things to try and match? No. No, we did. Okay. Type wanted. So it's got arguments, and the second argument is members dot data sub 1, and that argument is K. You can see that there. I mean, all this debugging spew that Visual Studio is horrible at printing. Let's see what the inferred type is. OX208 is the flags. 2, it's polymorphic. Let's see why we didn't get a match for that. I'm going to screw up this computation in progress and go back to here. Set next statement. All right. So these are both procedures. So we're going to ignore argument 0. We're looking at argument 1. So now we're comparing the argument types. Okay. Six, 6, 4, 8. 6, 6, 4, 8. Yeah, that's the problem. It's at least one problem. So what's happening is we're saying, okay, this is no longer defining a variable. It's using a variable. It's using the variable c because we bound k to c. But the problem is we didn't want to bind k to c. Because we're using the variable, we're no longer able to specify a value for it. So we got to fix that. I've got to somehow make it, when we go here, this type of does not cause variable matching to happen. Now the problem is that I believe that that type of gets, there's not a thing called type of by the time we get here. It was statically evaluated to the other thing. So like there's no difference between these two things right now. So when we do a type of, okay, let me verify that, first of all. And then I have to do something ugly when we do like a type of a polymorphic type that takes away, essentially we need to take away the $sign. Because you're not allowed to have more than $1 sign. That's what is screwing this whole thing up. Does any of this make sense? You should simplify the nightmare function till it works, then undo and see if it makes more sense. Yeah, I mean, I could build a simpler test case for sure, but maybe we'll do that if I have trouble. But for now, I know what to do. For this particular subtask, my subtask now is to make this type of not bind variables. So I could definitely make a simpler case that exhibits that, but I'm just going to try it with this one. Because why not? How did it get to be 5 p.m. already? Somebody explain that to me. Okay. Type of a polymorphic type has to strip the $signs somehow. I could do that by copying and stripping the $signs. I might as well, I guess. It's just that yeah, I mean the copier needs a mode that says, hey man, copy this but strip the variables. Okay, let me verify before I go and do this solution. I want to verify that that's actually the thing. Okay, so iteration number 1, type wanted. So this input is the expression, the inst wanted is going to be a type of, right? No. Oh, this is the procedure. This is the outer. This is the outer part. This is, right now we're looking at this whole thing. So when you look at like type of lambda, arguments block, members, data, sub 0, expression, inferred type. Okay, this is the type of the first argument, right? Which is just going to be probably a type definition, right? Yeah, it's already boiled down to a type definition. Flags 20240. So we said 2 is polymorphic, 4 is a lambda, and so what's the first 2? Yeah, it's not, this means it's not a lambda with a body, it's just like the type of a procedure. Okay, that's all no surprise. So when this is generated, well, I can dig down further and make sure. So this is, again, has 2 arguments, right? And it's going to be the second one that defines K. And there we look at type inst value, and that is constants block entry for polymorph type variable. Or, well, yeah. Wait, is that the right thing? I keep wanting to look for a thing called defines polymorph variable, but I don't remember where that is. I guess we renamed it. Okay. So the inst we're way down in the weeds of implementation details. Like, I'm trying to think, are there any cases in which this operation to essentially copy and strip the dollar signs are there any cases in which that fails? The answer is I don't know. The thing is, polymorphism, the polymorph routine is doing all these copies and force infers, so I feel like it's okay. Let's make sure this flag is set on the inst up here. Type inst flags for, yes it is. Okay, so when we copy, since the type gets reinferred, all we need to do is clear inst defines polymorph variable. Okay, so on copier, which is the thing we call to copy, clear the dumb variable name, but we're going to do that. What was the other one called? Yeah, clear dollar signs. All right, so copier.cpp inst if clear dollar signs inst flag result inst flags and equals not inst defines polymorph variable. Okay. Now, so we do this query, size of, initializer of. I think any of these could actually frickin' no, it's just type of. Okay. Now, if result is there some way to tell does some flag bubble all the way up to the type definition, or should we add such a flag? Maybe we should. I don't know. Okay, so how do we get a copier? I guess we have one. Copier dot clear dollar signs is true. And then we'll set it back to false. And then we do this. And then we stop copying. Auto new defin is copier.copy result assert new defin type as type definition. Well, result static cast as type definition new defin. Okay. like that. Except this argument is result arrow s. Okay. Who knows what the hell that's going to do? What? 414? No. Copier. Oh yeah. It's called dest, not result. Okay. Well, it didn't actually fix the problem in any way. Which makes me think that I didn't do the right thing. Let's verify that that the same thing is happening for argument 1. Right? So okay, so actually it did work. Because we didn't get any matches this time. So let's run to the end of the loop now. Right, this is the thing where we force infer or remove matches. Okay, so let's run to cursor. Oh, shoot. We're going to do all 3. So we got 1 match, and it'll be, all right, last time it was 2, so that's good. So we have 1 match, it'll be some type, which I believe is correct. Some type is now bound to guy, because we just passed a guy, right? There we go. So, and then we just frickin' force infer all this stuff. I don't know what that's going to do. Okay, next iteration. So we have some type. So we should get T out of this iteration, because that's some type dot best friend. Let's see what matches we get. One, 2, 3. Okay. 0. Oh, what? What? I think I inadvertently. So type of some type dot best friend should be guy, and we should be matching that against dummy. So let's go back here and do this loop again. Okay. Type wanted is, oh, it's polymorphic. Oh, because it's the procedure. But argument 0 is also what? That's not what I expected. Type inst. Okay, no, wait. Okay, type of. That's fine. Doesn't have a substitution. Why not? Why not? Why didn't that get changed into pointer to guy? Okay, wait, what was... Okay, no, this was fine. Type of expression, blah. Okay, what's the value? The value is a pointer to, oh, no, it's good. So the type that we get is a pointer to a struct guy. That's great. That's great. So anyway, the thing is that's not the whole type. That's variable 1 of this procedure type. So if we call matching here, is it going to say true? Yes, but then these don't have any matches in them. So let's see why. Probably because of the thing I just did. So we want to go down to where we're comparing two lambdas. Type wanted, type given. So type wanted should be the pointer to guy now. Type wanted. Pointer to. Type given is going to be second argument dummy 1. Type of a dot favorite color. Oh, because we don't know. We don't know. Wait. So I bet we strip the $sign off of this, so it won't match, right? Is that what happened? I'm getting tired, so it's hard to think about this now. Wanted and given are the same? What? Oh, no, 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 it's... Wait, where are we? First argument. So type of some type dot best friend, which is now resolved to pointer to guy, and given given is just T. Wait, where did that come from? I didn't think we solved T yet. Pointer to guy. How did we get pointer to guy? How does that make any sense? Maybe I should make a simpler example. pointer to guy. How did that happen? Let's look at the actual argument and not the type of the argument. So it's an expression, a declaration. Right. Okay, it's supposed to be a declaration because it's an argument declaration. Identifier A, correct. Type instantiation. Type name T. And the value is probably pointer to guy. Yeah, how did that happen? Resolve declaration T in the constants block. How did we bind that? I'm confused. Maybe I iterated one more time than I thought. I must have, let's just start over. I must have missed it. All right. So, here we go. Matches wanted, matches given. Oh, wait. These are the only things. Okay, so this is sum type. Let's keep going. Zero. Okay, again, something sneaky is happening. Something sneaky is happening. Action is coming. Okay, so lambda constants block has 3 members, one for each variable, kr and some type. Okay, it's actually this one, right? It's actually this one that's getting hosed. Okay. Second iteration. Okay, I was confused because I was looking at the wrong constants block binding. Second iteration. We know type of some type dot best friend. We know T. We're binding those. This is correct. Okay, that's. I just had skipped over this. That's fine. Second iteration. Second argument is Y. Okay, the question is, why didn't that count as progress? Oh, I guess it did. I'm confused. All right. So did this give us anything? 0 and 0. So we won't do anything. Does that make sense? Yeah, because we don't really, you know, we're trying to bind this to there and we don't have C yet. Type of X. We don't have K yet? Wait, we should have K. This should have given us C, right? Right? No, not yet, because, okay. The reason it doesn't give us this yet is because, okay, this matches to this, that's fine, but we don't know type of A.favorite color yet. We do know T, we just found T, but it was during this iteration, so we haven't actually put T into the procedure yet and re-inferred. So we don't know the answer to this yet. So we can't bind to that yet. So that is what I would expect. Third argument, fourth argument. Third argument's no longer polymorphic because we know some type, that's great. Fourth argument is just R, and we're not going to be able to match R. You never knew compilers did so much for simple operations, did you? Well, they do. Okay, so this is fine. Wait, no. We did force reinfer the given. We did. We put T in here. Right, I keep forgetting it's two separate things. So where's that breakpoint? When we get here, we force infer this guy. And so at that point, we actually know T. So that should have worked. But in any case, it should work here too. So here's iteration 0. Oh, we got a wanted. Did this give us K? No? Okay, let's see what we got. It's probably K against, yep, it's K. And the value of K should be color. It is. Yeah, it's an enum, right? Enum has a bound name, doesn't it? Oh no, yeah. Enum, bound name, color. That's good. So we got K. Which means we know A because we know T. All right. Oh, yeah, right. I was confused. Oh, whatever. Let's just keep going. It's so easy to be confused. Okay. So we got that. We made progress. We've got another variable. We've got K. Now, when we get here, now that we know K, okay, we won't know K, okay. Because K is in the outer loop, it's not going to get bound until the end of this. So I expect that we get to the bottom here, and progress is still only 1, yes. So we got one variable, that's K. We're putting that into the constants block. we're still iterating. Now, this first time should match and give us no new information, because we know all the variables. We know t and we know k, and so we're matching this against that, and it should say they still match, but there's nothing new. Oh, they're not polymorphic. Great. Neither of these is polymorphic anymore. Great. Because we solidified all the variables. Now we're on input number 1, or argument number 1, which is going to be this against this. Now, type of x should be this procedure, right? Which should match against this argument, which should give us c is whatever k was, which is color, okay? This is probably the part that's failing. I don't know. Let's just see what happens. We match. Nobody gave us any items. So let's go back in there and see why. Okay. Yeah, I really should have made a simpler example. If I can't figure it out from this, we'll go and make a simpler example. Okay, so we're looking over all the return declarations. So the return declaration here is void, and this one is void. Wait, no, sorry, this one is void. And type of x, this one is void. So this will give us no information, because we're just, okay, void matches void, that's fine. Now, argument declarations. Type wanted, type given. Argument 0. Type wanted is going to be pointer to guy. Pointer to guy. We already know both of these. Okay, right? So let's just check that. Type wanted. Point. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, no, that's a procedure. Wait, what? It's such a complicated example. Where are we now? Oh, we're in the top level procedure. Okay. First argument is a procedure. It's this one. Wait, no, that's not right. We're matching argument to argument. Okay, hold on. I am so confused. I am so confused. Type given is also a procedure. It's a 2-argument procedure. Yeah, we're matching this versus this. Right, because the first argument of this is its, no? Where am I? Okay, wait. Type wanted up here is a 1-argument procedure. Right. Oh, yeah, okay. I keep looking at the wrong one. Okay, we're matching type of x, right? Type of x is a 2-argument procedure. And we're matching that against dummy 2's first argument, which is a 2-argument procedure. Okay, I get it. Okay, first argument of the 2-argument procedure is a pointer to guy. So this is going to match. Great. Whoa. Right. The whole two are, oh, I skipped. Because it's inside the two argument procedure is the match that we're looking for. We're looking for C against K, where K is known and C is unknown. Let's go back there. I really should make a simpler example. It's true. Okay, so we're checking that these match. We got to go all the way back down to the lambda situation. Okay, now these are going to be two argument procedures, right? So no, not return declarations. Argument declarations. Two. The first one, now the type wanted is going to be pointer to guy, right? So, wait, no? What? Type wanted. Type wanted. Null. Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa! That is not supposed to be possible. That is a failure of the first order, and I don't mean Star Wars. When we called force infer, no, I think this is a legit bug. I don't think it's because I moved the instruction pointer. Not at all. This is a thing stored on a data structure. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the instruction pointer. Okay. What's happening is my force infer is not working right. I'm getting cold. Let me make some more hot water and then we'll debug that. It's not because I set next statement, no. It's not. This is hard for me to follow, so don't be shocked that it's hard for you to follow. All right, back in a minute. Okay. Less than or equal to 1 millisecond annotation. Yes, it is hilarious. I complained to the Visual Studio team about that. They don't seem to think it's hilarious. So this is the type of, oh, damn it. I know what happened. Remember when I did this thing here? You know, last time I actually made a change to the program before the last 27 hours of debugging. I said, hey, we copied the thing to get rid of the dollar signs. That's fine. But you know what? I have to infer the type. I have to force infer this because when the output of the copier doesn't have any type annotations on it. It's a failure of the first order. And force infers on polymorph. Going to assert that we don't yield. This is rough because it wants wants an enclosing scope from me. One does not simply copy a syntax tree. There's many implementation details that I wish were easier to deal with. And I want to do another pass. Once all the bugs are out, I want to do another pass trying to simplify things. Because it's times like this where things get at their most complicated, that if one or two of these little problems blocking me from doing things was not there, the task would be substantially easier, right? The problem now is, when I copy something, it could contain nodes interior to what I copy that need to know their enclosing scope. And so I need to know the enclosing scope. And the only way for me to know that is if that lives on the type of. And I just don't have that right now. So now I need to do that. Okay. So, enclosing scope is here of enclosing scope. We've got to assert that that is not null. Now we have to set it. Which we can do in copier. Oh no, in flatten. That's here. Scope equals. Wait, let's make sure I'm in the right part of the program. Scope equals. Yep, okay, so query. Was this in flatten? Query. There we go. Maybe that's enough. I don't know, this is complicated, folks. It might be enough for me to take a break. Well, what a pain in the butt. What a pain. Did I just not? Do I need to push something on? Okay, what declaration is this? It's a type of. But why is this guy's enclosing scope? It doesn't make any sense. Let me just rebuild. This could be a Visual Studio situation. Probably not, but it's always worth checking. Cannot run rc.exe. Thanks, Visual Studio. Visual Studio, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if I can run it now. Nope. Gee, IDEs are great because they compile your program and make it easy and they don't cause problems. I assume the reason it can't run RC is because there's a zombie process, which I'm now looking for. I don't see one though. I might have to reboot before I can compile again for all I know. Fucking piece of garbage. This is why I think we need to get rid of all this stuff. All of this stuff. I can't program now. Cannot run rc.exe. Okay, great. Why? Do you know what that is? It's probably the resource compiler to put the Windows resources in your executable that I don't even want there anyway because they're stupid things that don't mean anything. Ugh. Distributed IDE on the blockchain. That has to be a 2-month early April Fool's. Maybe try cleaning the project. I just did. Well, I did a rebuild. Okay, let's try clean. All right. It's not going to help. I have to reboot now because I'm looking in the processes and I don't see an rc.exe hanging out. Cannot run rc.exe. Why not? It doesn't matter. We just can't run it. You just can't run it. Can't run rc.exe. What do you want? You want to program? Sorry, you can't program. Can't run rc.exe. It's just not possible. It is just not possible. I can run it here. Why can't I run it from here? Maybe it has to do with that linker warning. This one, now we get that all the time. I don't think that's anything meaningful. Let's try compiling the release build, see if it matters at all. I think I just have to reboot, because that's where we're at. It may be time to do some gaming. I mean, you know, sometimes you just can't run rc.exe, and you got to do some gaming. So that's what I'm going to do, and we'll pick up on this bug a little later on. I can't check it in right now, which is a bummer. I would like to have this fixed before SuperStream Sunday, and I wanted to do SuperStream Sunday from home. Yeah, I think simpler examples will happen. But the simplest example is that I cannot run rc.exe. What do you want? Let me see. So if the version of the compiler compiles Sokoban. Oh, we don't have an executable at all right now. Let's try Visual Studio 2017. Wait, do I not have it installed? I have it installed. try this. Hey, we're saved. Apparently this guy can run rc.exe just fine. Yeah, maybe there is a zombie process that's not showing up in the nice GUI process table that hides lots of things from you in Task Manager. And so maybe that's a zombie, but there's several versions installed for different compilers. So maybe the one I'm getting from the command line is a different one. Although it shouldn't be. I think that's the 2015 one. I don't know. Frankly, I don't know. I don't care. Let's just see if this crashes. Oh, it crashes even on Sokoban. This is bad news, bears. I fully don't understand this at all. How is the thing that I did affecting a declaration? Let me see. I do kind of want to play PUBG now. And I'm not totally happy with how much complication I have to add to make this work. Okay, so here's this thing, right? What if I take out the force infer here? What happens? Still crashes. Is it like merely the fact that I added a member somehow? Like what? No, that's working. That's working. The force infer, okay, so the declaration is probably getting created inside that copy. And the force infer is not assigning it a value the way it should. Probably because it's embedded inside a Lambda. You know how these things are. You embed things in a Lambda and it's just bad news. Exception thrown. Decal arrow S. Let's do it again and see if that's the same number. Yes, okay, good. So we're going to say, where does this get created? And I bet it's like inside the second Lambda. This UI drives me nuts. They keep changing it for no reason. They just keep making Visual Studio worse. All right, let's try again. Data breakpoints are still slow. What a surprise. Okay, where are we at? We're in copy. We're not really deep down. We're in the first argument of the top level thing. This is the first argument of the top level thing. All right, well, run to cursor. What happens when we just do this? We flatten the crap out of it. We're just resetting everybody. And this is the actual type inference. Well, let's return from that. Wait, what? Can't return too far. Oh, maybe it didn't. Oh, we're in the middle of force inferring guy. All right. So we create this thing, and we set the enclosing scope down here, and it's null. Why? I guess, do I have to manually push a block? Yeah, I do. In this case, because I'm not inferring a block, I have to push a block. Ay, 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 ay. Okay, that still crashes. Sokoban? Sokoban is working. As long as Sokoban and the demos are working, then we can check in at any time. Switch this back to x64. Oh. Okay, we're in actually okay shape. This stuff, this crazy stuff that I did to strip the dollar signs doesn't ruin any of the normal code. It only just doesn't work on the new code, which is great. Let's just at least see before I take a break, because it's been a long stream now, a little bit. Let's see how we're crashing. I bet lambda's null, yes. Oh, it's in LLVM. This may, well, I don't know. Let's try it x64. Oh wait, no, wrong thing. Repro. Okay, it's an LLVM backend issue, I think. Dude! That was so complicated. Okay, we have another LLVM backend issue. Not surprising, because that backend is complicated. But everything else works. The tests work. The Sokoban still works. RC.exe does not run from Visual Studio 2015, but let's not mind that. Okay, so let's make sure that this is an up-to-date repro.exe and not like something we compiled 2 months ago. 6:43 p.m., February 3rd. Yep. All right, so, oh, let me turn back this thing. Fix bug 82. It works with -x64, but the LLVM backend crashes on it. Not sure if this is a bug in the LLVM backend or if it is a bug in the front end that x64 is somehow not barfing on. Okay, that was the hard bug. None of these other ones, 72 and 78, aren't going to be that hard. So maybe we'll do those later tonight. Maybe we'll do them as part of SuperStream Sunday. By the way, the resource compiler, so I didn't demo this actually yet. So one of the things that I'm fed up with, we'll do this as a bonus end of the stream. One of the things that I'm fed up with is how annoying and stupid the Windows resource process is, right? Like, one of the reasons the IDE is so good is that it helps you do all these side tasks, like set the resources. What are the resources? Well, there's this stupid thing called the Windows manifest that you need to specify some things in now, but it's also stuff like the icon for your executable. And about a week ago, Orshi, who's the lead artist on the Sokoban game, said, hey, we want to be able to set the icon. So I was like, huh, okay, how do we do that? Oh, let's make Windows resources work. So we did that. How do I view as big? This UI is a disaster. View extra large icons. So you're able to set the icon on your executable now in Windows without using any of the Visual Studio toolchain or anything. And in fact, if I run, there's this thing called Resource Hacker where you can go and just see what executables have what. So if I could go to Soko debug, which is what we just compiled, right? It's like, hey, we've got the manifest, we've got the icons at different sizes and so forth, right? And so the way we did that is we have a library now. If I go into modules, Windows resources, right? We have ways of setting that. And you know, this manifest thing is a giant pile of XML garbage that you don't want to have to think about. But we just have one procedure. We say, hey, add the manifest to your executable. What's the name of the file, of the executable file? And what are the options, right? And the options are just like, hey, is your application DPI aware or not? And probably it is. And that's it. And then we generate the manifest that tells Windows your thing is DPI aware so that Windows doesn't screw your window size and do something stupid, right? And that's just calling a procedure. So I can go to Sokoban source first, right? So we just import Windows resources, and then, whoops. So down here, after, you know, once we've completed compiling our workspace, we just say, here's some manifest options. We're just going to take the defaults, add the manifest to our executable, and assert that we succeeded. That's it. No Windows toolchain or anything, right? No cannot run rc.exe. Like, it's ridiculous. So the other thing we do is we set the icon. So, you know, we have this icon.ico, and we call here set icon by file name, which does a similar thing. It deals with all these garbage window structs about bitmap, header, icon entries and stuff, and puts the icon resource in there. And, okay, so here's the cool part. Well, let's go look at the, so we happen to have this ICO file laying around that's the Windows icon format. How did we get that ICO file? Well, you have to build it from a bitmap. Well, how do you do that? Well, usually people use some crappy old Windows program to do that. Why should you need that? Again, we're getting rid of all the tool chain. So here we have a PNG, and I don't want to compile the PNG to an ICO every time I build because I don't, you know, I don't want to spend the compile time every time. And I could check timestamps or something, but timestamps are sometimes wrong. And so I just satisfied myself with manually compiling this. So we also have code that will build an ICO file from a PNG, right? Or from anything that STB image will load, right? So I have this ICO file, which is now commented out because I only needed to run it once. But if you ever want to build a Windows icon, then hey, we've got this one-stop procedure. Create ICO file from bitmap file name, where you say what the file name of the bitmap is, and we say, oh, load the image, you know, byte swap it for the format that the ICO file wants, and then we call create ICO file, which makes a bunch of different sizes and makes an icon group out of it and all that stuff. So you can do all this Windows resource stuff without any of the Visual Studio toolchain. It's a simplified version, right? It doesn't do everything, because that would be insane and bananas and super complicated, and most of that stuff is old and deprecated, but it does the things that you actually want to do to ship a real thing. So there you go. Yeah. And we're not just hiding this stuff, we're enabling you to do it a lot faster. So when we run, these procedures here run a lot faster than like running rc.exe does and so forth. Do I prefer 2D or 3D games? It depends on the game. It all depends on the game. All right. I think what was wrong with the LLVM backend, I don't actually know right now. I'm going to let Josh debug that because he wrote the LLVM backend and knows the most about it. If I, because I have hardly looked at that code, for me to debug things there probably takes disproportionately long because I don't know any of the data structures, I don't know any of the procedures, I haven't used LLVM hardly at all. So I'm leaving that to him. To work on a team, you kind of have to let people do their department and trust them to do it. And when you do that, the good thing about that is it takes certain things off your plate, so you don't have to think about everything, right? So I don't have to think about the LLVM backend. He's taking care of it, and that's great. So whenever a bug comes up in there, I don't worry about it. I let him do it. Will all that code be shipped with the compiler? Yes. All this is going to be in the standard library, right? Or standard library, right? Like we said, we're going to do more of a capitalism of libraries than a communism of libraries, but we will ship this code with the compiler for sure. So, and we'll have sample programs that do all this, and it'll just be great. Hello from the USA. Yeah, does anyone use the Visual Studio icon editor? I mean, I guess people do. I don't know. Will the compiler be free? Yes, it will be free. The whole reason I'm doing this is so I can give this out and everybody can use it. It's just, we still got bugs, so we don't want to give it out early. And the design's not complete. But yeah. Is language documentation written? No, there's no documentation, unfortunately, in part because, we're still evolving the design, and so it's premature to document it. There are a bunch of videos on YouTube that someone can point you at, hopefully. If the robot doesn't have that link in there, we should put it in there. It's a lot of videos, but that's the best documentation right now. Will you do a Jive port of rc.exe? No, because we don't want external tool programs to the extent that we can avoid it. We want you to be able to write. We want you to be able to write your own program doing whatever it wants without having to shell out to other programs, right? So, yeah. Will I be going back to Seattle? Yeah, I'm probably going to Seattle next week. Or something. I haven't figured it out yet. All right, thanks everybody for coming by. I'm probably going to take a break. Maybe I'll start up a gaming stream in 15, 20 minutes. So Abner, I don't know if you saw me check that in, but I just checked in a fix to bug82. It does trigger a crash in the LLVM backend. But as I said in the check-in comment, I don't think it has to do with the actual problem that bug82 was checked in for. I think it's something else. It's maybe related to the other problem, because the x64 backend generates the program fine. So it could be a problem in the front end. It could be a problem in the LLVM backend. We're not sure, but it's probably best to have Josh look at it as though it's a problem in the LLVM backend. And then if it isn't, he can say, hey, what are you're passing me this weird thing that doesn't make sense or whatever. All right, great. Thanks everybody for coming by, and gaming stream in 10 or 15 minutes. Bye-bye.